Hey there everybody, instead of a new review, welcome to the first of a different kind of videos that I have actually done before, but now I'm just actually properly addressing them as such. Custom showcases. And for the first one, we're actually being surprisingly on topic by showing off my custom Beast Wars Tigatron with the Kingdom Tigatron in the background. I'm doing this guy first because apparently about 24 hours ago or a little less than that, infamous Transformers reviewer PrimevsPrime was at it again. I say he's infamous because apparently he has a reputation of having contacts at the actual factory in Vietnam where the Transformers toys are being made nowadays. And basically those contacts managed to steal figures from the production line that they sent to him so he can have his goddamn irritating first reviews of a lot of goddamn figures. It has to stop. Like, it's not cool. If you're subscribed to him, I would actually recommend unsubscribing from him immediately. And yeah. So yeah, less than 24 hours ago, he did another one of those reviews, and it happened to be the new and highly awaited War for Cybertron Kingdom Tigatron. And guess what? I don't think it's that special. It's just, in essence, it's just a retooled and upsized Cheetor, really. So, yeah. Feel free to pass on it. I'd say feel free to pass on him if you already have a Beast Wars Tigatron. Like, if you have either the original Takara version or the even more cartoon accurate Telemoka version, which actually has the correct cartoon accurate striping, you're golden. But what if you're like me and you have to settle with the old Hasbro Beast Wars Tigatron with its cream colored plastic? Well, I'm going to show you what I did. Now, I did kind of tell you guys about the backstory of this figure before, how I got it from a friend of mine who bought it for me as a belated birthday gift. Total cost was about $40 or so. Just about. So, yeah. But he was missing his gun and one of his original knees, which is made of the same minty green plastic on, say, the ball joint sockets here for the hips. One of those original knees was broken. So what I did, I replaced those with the blue knees from an even more broken Cheetor figure, and I painted Cheetor's butt gun. Like, yes, this is the first time that I'm actually showing off the butt gun here on YouTube, like the customized one. First thing that I did was actually pop the tail and this little blue double hinge off, so when it comes to the actual gun piece, I coated that first with a layer of gray primer paint from a spray can. So yeah, spray paint. And it was gray primer paint specifically, because I think it's just a nice shade of gray. After that, I did actually decide to try and actually remove the paint from these pegs, especially this one, because this one will form the handle for the gun. Then I actually tried painting it white with modeler's paint. You can kind of see it here on the inside of the tail. Didn't work out that well. So I had to resort to a small jar of cream-colored paint that was actually starting to decompose. Though fortunately, a good stir and a little dab of that white modeler's paint actually made it usable again. So the paint match, as you can see, it's a very good paint match to the actual creamy off-white plastic of the figure. It's great. And as for that little blue double hinge, that's done in the same white spray paint for the knees. And we'll see more of that in robot mode, like we actually already saw during my Kingdom Cheetor review. So yeah, like, you know, one of the I already explained that one of the knees was broken, and was broken beyond repair. So I could just easily swap those from those on Cheetor. On my old broken Beast Wars Cheetor, that is. So, yeah. And you may have also noticed that he now has a little dab of black paint on the pupils of the Tiger mode, just to bring him a little bit to life. Yeah, they're a bit thick and they're maybe not super symmetrical, but at least he doesn't look too derpy. Like, it wasn't my intention to make him look derpy and dumb or whatever. It's just that, you know, I'm a little bit, I guess a little bit unrefined and a little clumsy with very precise hand painting in some areas. So, yeah. Got Cheetor basically ready in robot mode. So, yeah. Let me just stand Cheetor in the background then here. So, yeah. Gotta extend the tripod legs a little bit. So, there we go. That's... there's the loose one. Okay, there we go. But then, of course, also there was quite an epic story with the transformation. So yeah, obviously, transformation is still the same as on on any version of this mold. Nothing has really changed, though. I did swap the thigh pieces around, which will give a new extra advantage in robot mode. So yeah, bring those down. Pelvis blade comes out first if I can gently. There we go. So pull that down, pull those out gently, bend the head like that a little to create sufficient clearance. Oh, there goes Cheetor. This one a little bit more careful because of what I'm about to explain. And Tiger head in position, and there we go. There you have my custom Tigatron in his robot mode. And as you can see, he does look really good with Cheetor. So yeah, I don't need Kingdom Tigatron, really. But yeah, basically, you can see that I extended that white spray paint, not just on his knees, but I also used that for his robot mode biceps and the front half of his head. Basically, you remember how the actual Hasbro Tigatron looked out of the box. Like, for whatever reason, there was silver paint on his robot mode face, pelvis, and shins, and his robot mode eyes were black. Now, the way the head was constructed was, barring this bracket on which the head rotates and can flip forward for the mutant head gimmick. If I can demonstrate that, there we go. Barring that bracket itself here, the head was comprised of 3 pieces. The actual front half, the mutant head, which was the rear half, and a little panel for the eyes. I had to take it apart using an X-Acto knife, but unfortunately, just like with a lot of modern heads today on Transformers toys, it's not just pegs and holes. Hasbro and Takara also used a layer of glue to keep the halves shut. So yeah, I accidentally broke the tabs. So what I had to do was use a little Lego piece, basically one of those small 3mm T-junction pieces from Lego Technic, which kind of act as like distributor valves, I guess, for like letting air flow through pneumatic hoses to enable pneumatic functions. Basically, I kind of used one of those, glued it in here as like a substitute peg, and after I, repainted the facial half of the head white and did all the hand painting on the face and the eyes, I just, I reassembled it, and I used a layer of glue to keep it shut while it dried up. So now the head is still solid. You may have also noticed, if I take the tiger head down, that there's a little bit of a gap here, like a little bit of a bigger gap. I did some kit bashing just to create just enough clearance for the nose and chin of the robot head to squeeze past, so he could still do the mutant head gimmick without paint chipping. That's something that I'm quite happy with. Other kit bashing is that I actually widened this gap here so that now the tiger head can move past either ends of this rivet and hinge whatever, so that way the tiger head can actually fold down a bit more to create a slightly less bulging chest. Otherwise it would be like this or this, and yeah. So this is actually a decent, so it actually cleans up the silhouette a little bit. Then there's the broken hinge on the left shoulder. Like if you can see here, there's a tiny crack there. Yes, that part did break off when I had to replace the actual hinge. Like the old hinge was, if you remember, it was really dirty and rusty and filthy, and it actually caused so much friction towards the top, it almost looked like, it almost felt like you were going to break the figure. And there was like oil or grease coming out of this seam there. It looked nasty. So unfortunately, while I was trying to remove that pin, even with preheating that piece by actually holding it in a small fire from a candle, I mean from a lighter, it broke. But fortunately, using a long enough pin as like a temporary support, I was able to glue this back in place. Since then, I also applied a little bit of extra super glue from time to time, just to make sure that it will remain attached. But as you can see, the hinge still moves pretty easily, but it doesn't feel super tight. Like, it still holds its position, yet it's easy to move, so that's perfect. And besides, if anything, I had to remove the hinge pin anyway in order to replace some screws. Because initially, this very clean screw here in his left bicep was mounted here, like right there, to hold the torso together, along with this screw here. The only way to access that screw really is, you guessed it, taking the pin out carefully and then removing the shoulder ball joint here. So yeah, I did manage to, get that screw out and then remove the... So yeah, this rather dirty screw, trust me, it was far filthier before, and that was the one in his left bicep. So this dirty one was in there and this shiny one was in here, so I swapped the two around after I gave this one some cleaning. Not a whole lot of cleaning, but it has been cleaned enough to still be, at least decent in appearance. Let me actually see if I can very carefully... Oh no, I'm not going to risk it. I'm too scared. No, I'm not going to do this. I thought that maybe I could remove the pin so I can show it to you better, but that's not going to happen. Maybe I can show it to you with the yellowish light of my desk lamp. Let's see. Yeah, that actually works pretty well. You can see that screw is still kind of dirty, but it was nowhere near as dirty as it was before. So yeah. There you go. So if anything, customizing and kind of repairing and rescuing this figure was a little bit of a venture for me, and I'm happy that it turned out to be a successful one. And granted, the green paint that I used for the face, the pelvis, and the shins, it's not quite the same shade as the green paint that you can see on the robot arms and feet, but still, it looks good enough for me. And I'm pretty sure, and if anything, I wish Hasbro released him like this to begin with, or at the very least release him in this exact deco as part of the Beast Wars 10th anniversary toy line. That would have been pretty cool. And yeah, you can also flip up the tail to give him his gun. I mean, yeah, the striping on the tail looks a bit sloppy, but hey, he's just for me. I can let that slide. So yeah, if anything, this guy is actually now kind of inspired by the old Takara version of Tigatron. With this exact same stripe pattern, that's not show accurate. I mean, the funny thing is, though, between this guy prior to customizing, I mean, compared to this guy, the paint was actually swapped around. Because, again, whereas this guy had silver on the face, pelvis, and shins, and minty green on the forearms and feet, on that original Takara Tigatron, it was the other way around, to be somewhat more show accurate. So yeah, green face with red eyes, green pelvis and green shins, and then silver feet and forearms. So yeah, some of the joints have also been made a little bit tighter, so he poses a bit better. And you may have noticed that now the legs move further forward on the ball joints because I swapped those thigh pieces around. Initially, this side here that kind of bulges outward with this robotic mold detailing was supposed to be on the front, and ironically that was the only part that really should have been silver, but it caused a problem in the sense that you couldn't move the legs forward very far on the hip ball joints. Now they can't move backwards very far, but they still move backwards enough. So yeah, this Tigatron is perfect for me. And I really don't need Kingdom Tigatron now. So yeah, and let's just get him in a nice pose with Cheetor. I mean, granted, in a recent customizing project, I was able to come up with a way to actually remove riveted pins like this. So I think I might be able to finally disassemble those legs and maybe give Cheetor a bit better of a knee bend, but we'll see. Come on, let me just get a good pose to finally wrap this somewhat lengthy video up. I mean, this is indeed a longer video than it really should have been, but I guess that's partly because of the whole